I'm a natural resource specialist in botany and soils with the Central Coast Field Office, Bureau of Land Management. So with respect to soil seed banks, you can sort of view them actually as the hidden half, essentially, of the plant community, almost like the roots are the hidden half of individual plant species. They're often not recognized. It's hard to see them, hard to work with them, but they are a very important and integral part of the plant community. And the title of my talk today is Soil Seed Banks, federally listed threatened annual plant, Camissonia benitensis. Do a lot of work with that one. So this species is a very tiny serpentine endemic annual plant. It's self-pollinating. It produces numerous tiny seeds, as you can see on the photo at right. Favors open habitat with occasional disturbance to reduce competition. It's federally listed threatened. As you can see in the photo on the upper right, very, very tiny seeds. They're just about the size of sand grains, so it's a penny for scale. So they basically look like pieces of dirt, So for seeds, people often think of seeds as kind of an invisible part, like plants just magically emerge from the soil or something like that. But I like to drive home the point that seeds are basically dormant embryos, and try and view seeds as a plant is born and a seed is produced. So if you think about it in that way, annual plants with persistent seed banks spend most of their lives actually in the seed bank, dormant, and only a very short time emerge producing, growing, flowering, and producing seeds. So as part of this, I'm going to give a very brief introduction to the types of soil seed banks that exist. And this is based on some figures or graphs that were produced by a different soil researcher, I don't recall the name. But a type 1 soil seed bank would be a very transient soil seed bank. An example of this would be an orchid, where essentially seeds are produced at the end of the growing season. Some of these go on to produce plants, and a few of them are maybe left over dormant. But essentially, they do not carry over. Very short, very, very short-lived. They do not form any kind of persistent seed bank at all. The type 2 seed bank is very similar to the transient soil seed bank. The seeds will live a little bit longer even if they don't germinate, but they also do not really carry over into the season. An example of that would be, oaks are very, very well known for this. They produce acorns. If they don't germinate, they don't really carry over into the next season. Buckeyes as well, the same. The type 3 seed bank is a persistent soil seed bank, but these seeds would be very short-lived. An example of this would be like grasses, or maybe less than 5 years. They do produce some seeds every year, but they, due to the seed longevity, they generally don't persist as long, and so you tend to not accumulate very much soil seed bank. The type 4 is a greater level persistent soil seed bank, where the seeds would be longer lived, 5 to 20 years. This would be representative probably of the larger majority of plant species would be like a type 4. So if this is a model of an annual plant with a very large, long-lived seed bank, such as Camissonia benitensis, you essentially have two components to the plant community. The one that's not very well recognized or very, very well seen is that soil seed bank. And then what we do see, are those pretty flowers, those plants we count every year. So in the case, or the model of an annual plant, you'll have seasonal soil seed banks. Some of those can exit the seed bank, and on exit, they're either dying, being predated upon, dispersing, or just leaving the population to some other location, or they're actually emerging as a plant. If they emerge, then they can reproduce and produce seed, which goes back to that, feeds back to that soil seed bank. This is a component, as I mentioned, that we typically monitor as biologists for annual plants, but possibly you shouldn't be, show that here in a minute, why that should be the case. So here's 26 years of annual plant census data for San Benito evening primrose. This is about 40 populations for which we have long-term data going back to 1989. What you can see here is a lot of variability in the plant numbers. You'll have spikes. These spikes don't necessarily correlate with good rain years or anything like that. of factors involved in this. I started thinking about this. Well, what does this really mean for an annual plant in terms of its population viability if you're not really looking at the soil seed bank? Well, here's the same data plotted after I collected a bunch of data. Dean Taylor has also done some soil seed bank work with this species. We've more or less found the same thing as very large soil seed banks associated with these species. I did a series of studies, only one study of which I'll present today as part of this. But basically for that series of studies, we found there are millions of seeds essentially in the soil seed bank, and the soil seeds have longevity potentially up to 120 years. So if you have that same data they're plotted with the soil seed bank, you can immediately see we're probably monitoring the wrong thing. We should really probably be monitoring here is a soil seed bank. And so I propose basically a type 5 for this kind of species or this kind of situation where you have a very, very large soil seed bank. A few plants emerge every year and they kind of refresh it, add additional seeds back to the seed bank. So yeah, for an example of a species like this, we should probably actually be monitoring this, not necessarily focusing so intensively on this. So here's just another model of kind of a similar kind of situation as would be a disturbance or firefall, where in the beginning there you have a very large soil seed bank that for decades this had no disturbance or fire. It's just essentially been resting. It's been sitting dormant in the soil for all those years, and maybe losing a little bit to seed mortality and predation and dispersal. Then you maybe have some, the example of chaparral, you have some soil disturbance that comes along, or fire, or in the case of like an extreme environment like the deserts, like you think of Death Valley super bloom, and that will essentially trigger a mass release of the seeds from the soil seed bank, cause mass emergence or blooms. You can think of these like whispering bells, in chaparral after fire, so an explosion of wildflowers, or a super bloom in Death Valley. These plants will go through a cycle, they'll emerge, they'll reproduce, they'll produce seed, and by spring and summer, they're back into the seed bank. And the importance of this is that basically it resets that seed longevity clock, that the majority of the seeds are now set back to zero, and they can persist for as long as they can persist for the amount of time of their maximum seed longevity. Yeah, so summer and fall, they're back to the soil seed bank, and then they wait for a very long time, until the next environmental cue. And so this would be another proposed type model, would be like a type 6, a very persistent seed bank, but very rare emergence events, where essentially you have an emergence event, a lot of the seed exits from the seed bank, the plant, so it goes back to the seed bank, and then it waits for years to decades. So now I'll come back to the Camissonia benitensis model. So that species basically grows down here in a place called San Benito Mountain in the inner South Coast Range. And here's a view basically of the range in which it grows. This is the Nuidria serpentine mass. It's basically a complex of serpentine chaparral and all these natural barrens. These are all natural erosive barrens because the serpentinite there is extremely sheared and pulverized. It's a very kind of unstable landscape, really. So for this soil seed bank study of this Camissonia benitensis, I selected 4 sites. I actually just selected the 4 largest sites to reduce impacts, and it just so happened the 2 of these sites would basically look like very unstable type of habitat, and the other 2 look like more stable type habitat. So here is a oblique view of the site 1, looking back up a canyon of drainage. The population is located or indicated by the dotted yellow line there at the edge of the drainage, kind of on an alluvial terrace. The red dots are the soil sampling pits for the soil seed bank, and the blue line indicates the creek, so this normal flow channel pattern where it normally flows. Every 10 to 50 years, we have extreme flooding events that push out a lot of alluvium, and some of that alluvium will actually cover the population. Here's site 2, a very similar kind of situation there, where you have an alluvial deposit and population kind of distributed throughout there on the edge, and the channel running through it. And then every 10 to 50 years, you get flash flooding kind of events. It'll flush a bunch of sediment down there, partially buried populations. It's a very dynamic, naturally disturbed kind of habitat or ecosystem for the species. And here's just a photographic example. In July 2014, there was actually a flash flood on that site, and you can see you actually see the debris line of the flash flood was flowing probably like 10 feet deep in that channel and partially covered part of the site. Here's site 3. It's actually a stable landscape position. You can't see it very well, but that creek that comes in right next to it is very downcut, so it never floods the site. There's essentially no alluvial deposition there at all. And site 4 is also in a stable position, or so it appears. So for the soil seed bank sampling, I essentially dug down in soil pits and selected in these different levels every 4 centimeters. I tried to do this as carefully and as cleanly as I could to reduce potential contamination from top layers that you'd expect to have more seed to anything down lower in the pit. So for each sample, there was about a 1 liter composite that I sampled kind of on the level. I took little scoops at that level, put them in a 1 liter bag, and then took them back and then took about 500 milliliters constant sample volume of that and spread it out on a tray containing potting soil. And then grew those out. I had many, many trays basically representing each depth level of each soil pit and marked each emergent seedling with a toothpick. Come later in the season, watered it, gave it as much water as it really needed to get stuff to emerge. It was grown ambient temperature for the city of Hollister, which is pretty similar to the range of the species. And this is just to show that, yep, it emerged. You know, there's some plants in there. These look like Camissonia benitensis. So here's the data. For site 1, unstable site, you get what you'd normally expect, you know, for seed distribution in a soil seed bank. You expect, you know, to have most of the seed near the surface and some normal kind of decline of the soil seed bank as you go down in depth. What you also see are these peaks, these weird little peaks that are deeper in the soil seed bank. What that seems to probably represent is that the population has been buried. These represent probably old soil surfaces where seed bank has been buried down in there for a while. You see the same pattern on the other unstable site, site number 2, and also peaks, burial peaks down in there. So there is a significant portion of the soil seed bank that's actually buried in the soil profile. In the case of pit 2, interestingly enough, there's actually some charcoal that sort of bracketed this interval there, and a carbon dated it. It says it was about 300 years old. I'm not really certain whether the seed that was at that depth level is actually that old or not. I don't know whether to really trust that or not. So here's a site 3 that's stable, the normal kind of distribution you really expect for a stable type site. Most of the seeds near the surface. There's or essentially none going down. There's a little blip right there at the bottom of that one, and on this one, there's none right down at the bottom. And then site 4 had a huge amount of seed in it. It's an enormous amount of seed up near the top. These are expressed, by the way, in number of seeds per meter squared. But then again, you know, it looked like a stable site, but there's apparently a buried surface down in there. So at some point, very long time ago, it got buried by alluvium. So the idea, or the main points I'd like to drive home on this is that soil seed banks are very important, you know, in terms of the plant community. They should actually be viewed as part of the plant population. You could be monitoring the wrong part of the plant population if you're not really clear on the ecology and what portion of it is actually the dormant seed bank. These are just some good examples of situations that are like that. Here's an example of, you know, the desert super bloom, you know, we just had this past season in Death Valley. These were endangered lupin species that emerged at Point Reyes National Seashore after they did some dune restoration there. It hadn't really existed there before, but once they got in there and then ended up restoring and disturbing the sand, that species emerged in mass. There's a huge number of plants that emerged from that. Grasslands are another example of that. Those are sort of disturbance by herbivores. And then here's your classic example of chaparral after a fire. These whispering bells, typically they don't grow in the chaparral when it's full decadent chaparral. They only emerge after a fire. They emerge in mass after a fire. So these are all just examples of different kinds of ecosystems and situations where you can have seed banks sitting in their dormant. These could be also examples, of rare plants, rare firefaller plants, list one bees or something where people think they're extremely rare, but they're just essentially non-emergent because they only emerge sporadically after fires. And so that more or less concludes my talk. I just wanted to draw in these other speakers are also going to speak about different other aspects of the soil seed banks. Maria LaForgia will be speaking about the response of soil seed banks to drought in California grasslands, and Josie will also be speaking about seed banks of grasslands, and then Tom Parker will be speaking about seed banks of chaparral, but seemingly more related to animal use of them. And just for a few references, if you're interested in learning about soils and soil seed banks, these are very great references for those. And I'll now take questions.